So genetics is the foundation to any farming system. So it's vital that we actually get the genetics right on our farming system. And by genetics, I mean that we try to increase herd productivity, but at the same time try to reduce our costs at exactly the same moment in time. And the EBI, or the Economic Breeding Index, is a tool that's available to us in Ireland to actually simultaneously increase our output as well as reducing our profit. Now, one key point before I go on any further to remember is that genetics is cumulative and permanent, and that works both ways. If we have good genetics, we can build on it year on year. But if we actually just sit in the back seat and ignore genetics for this year, we can actually introduce bad genes into our population, which can have consequence effects for multiple generations. If you look at the EBI and you try and see, does it actually work? What we did was we got over 1,000 Teagasc profit monitor farms, and we looked at their EBIs and we related it to their performance on the ground. And what actually resulted was amazing. We would have expected the profit to increase by €2 per euro increase in EBI, and we got almost that, €1.94 increase in profit per unit increase in EBI. And if you actually sum all that up, that accumulates to the average farmer to around €750 per year. And remember, genetics is cumulative and permanent. So if you had started that back several years ago, that'd be worth many thousands euros per year now. So genomic selection is a new tool that became available to us in Ireland 2 years ago. And what it does is it utilises the DNA information of an animal that's there from birth, and it's there in all the cells in the body, such as the hair. What we're seeing with it is that it actually increases the accuracy of selection, of identifying the genetically elite animals, from 32% accurate to 54% accurate. 40% of farmers used genomic selection bulls last year, and if we actually look at those proofs now, of those bulls that have now daughter proofs, this new technology was 20% better than the technology that we used 2 years ago. So it's a large improvement in the technology. However, the impact of the whole thing is that it actually increases genetic gain, but we need to be very, very careful. We learned from our mistakes before in the Holstein that by going aggressive selection for something like milk production, it has an effect on fertility. So in Moore Park, we're putting up experiments to ensure that these high EBI animals don't have any deleterious effects on things that we're not currently measuring, such as, for example, health or disease traits. Now, as well as selecting on the Holstein Friesian, there are other options that are available to us, and crossbreeding is increasing in popularity in recent years. Why? Is because it can achieve greater profitability. So if you have two parental breeds, say for example the Holstein and another breed, for example say the Jersey, if those two breeds are good, you can get this extra kick or heterosis effect by actually combining the two. And heterosis is just when two genes from two different types of animals come together and they kind of get excited and they just have a greater kick effect. And that's what heterosis is. And when you actually calculate it, what it is if you have a Holstein versus a Norwegian Red, it's worth around €130 per cow per lactation, more profit over and above what you would have got with the EBI. And from the Jersey, it's slightly better. It's around €180 per lactation. Where it comes predominantly from improved milk sales, better composition of the milk, especially for the Jersey, and also significant reductions in replacement costs, due primarily to improved fertility. So if we look going forward, how are we going to drive genetic gain? And we're really going to drive genetic gain through artificial insemination. We have seen an increase in AI from 45% of heifers now born back around 5 years ago to now 55%. We need to get higher than that. We need to get up to 70–75%, like the other developed countries such as the Netherlands and New Zealand. Key thing to remember, if we are driving forward with expansion, we need more heifers. You need 5 to 6 straws for each heifer that you want to have milking in your parlour in 2 years' time. Okay, just to summarise, the key thing to remember is genetics is cumulative and permanent, so it's worth putting a lot of effort into selecting your breeding stock. I've already shown that there's multiple selection tools that are available to you to select your breeding stock, to drive your profit in the coming years and to meet the Harvest 2020 targets.